were all deceived. Hello. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hopefully well. Excuse me. Moon rocks, for fuck's sake, please. Yeah. So, our buddy Vaush is doing a stream right now as I speak, where he's once again in great, like, engaging with this hysterical response that happens amongst trad cons and their ilk every year when Pride Month happens. Every year since its inception. Like, I'm not using that hyperbolically. Every year since Pride's inception, traditional conservatives have gone like, oh, fuck. Kids are seeing this and kids are seeing that. And, real reactionary shit. And then the left, some people, queer advocates, they don't know how to respond to this shit. You respond to this shit by calling it out on the bullshit that it is and leaving it behind. All right, number one, you don't want your kids to see Kink at Pride? Don't take them to a kinky Pride parade. Number two, a lot of the stuff, like, if somebody offers you an example of a kid being exposed to what they believe is kink at Pride, tear it down like I'm about to right now. Okay, so there's a picture or a group of pictures of what look like, I don't know, I'm bad with fucking kids' ages, 8, 9, 10-year-olds maybe. A couple of 8, 9, 10-year-olds in like a drag club at a Pride event. And there's a drag queen doing a dance, doing the splits. And there's this sign, this neon sign, that is really the focus of the thing, which I think is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard, but we'll go into that. There's a neon sign on the stage behind the drag queen that says, it's not gonna lick itself, right? And everybody's like, kids being, oh my God. So let's break it down. Let's break the, now that you have a picture of the picture in your mind, since I can't show it to you here, let's break it down. Drag queen is wearing a full body leather kind of thing that is way less revealing than a bikini. So are the kids being exposed to anything they wouldn't be exposed to at a public beach? The answer is no. Then we need to set that aside. Okay? At a public beach, you're gonna see way more naked skin than you are in the picture that I'm talking about. I'm just breaking down this one picture. Number two, the drag queen is dancing. Are kids gonna be exposed to dancing? Yes. Is that a problem? No. Set that aside. So now we're down to the one element of this that seems to be the hyper focus of everybody, the sign that says, it's not gonna lick itself. If you take your kid out into any major city in this country and a fucking bus drives by, what are the chances they see a hypersexualized advertisement? 100%? They see an advertisement where a woman's sucking on a lollipop or dressed very provocatively and leaning on a car, or like, under a waterfall and she's naked but the water is the only thing that's covering her nakedness, or whatever the fuck. Two people hugging with Dior underneath it with no shirts on, you know what I mean? Are you to tell me that any of those things are less explicit than a sign that says it's not gonna lick itself? If your answer is yes, you have a problem in your mind. And if your answer is no, then it's a non-issue. So you see, we're brought back to the beginning again. That you shouldn't be sitting around and having long-ass discourses with people and trying to explain away things and giving ground by going like, oh yeah, that's a little sussy. That's a little sussy. How do you fucking know what it is? How is that any more sussy than taking your kid to the beach and having a bunch of bikini-clad women and a bunch of Speedo-clad men running around? If that's not sussy, then neither is the drag club picture. Why are you even engaging in this? Why cede an inch on what you know is a disingenuous attack on what is a march for queer acceptance and a protest for queer acceptance, an ongoing one that's been, not only is the protest for queer acceptance ongoing, but the constant traditional conservative attacks on it are ongoing. Oh, we can't have people parading around. Back in the 70s and 80s, when I was a little boy, in the 80s, the kink at pride discourse, the kink at pride discourse was, oh, we don't want to see kids can't see men kissing men and men hugging men and women kissing women. That's too sexually explicit. Now it's this other shit. There's no difference. And to engage in it like it's an actual argument and to cede ground, looking for some kind of common ground with people who pull their hair out every Pride Month, is actively destructive. Because it actually makes them think like, well, we're onto something. We got them to say that, yeah, that picture's a little sussy. Is that picture any more sussy than you driving your fucking 8-year-old down the streets of LA and having them see all these gigantic fucking 10-story tall billboards of women in fucking bathing suits posed provocatively? It's just fucking ridiculous. Don't do it. Don't even cede the ground of conversation to it. Do exactly what I just did. Pick apart the photo that they're freaking out about, element by element, and compare it to just everyday average shit that American children are exposed to. The movies, in music, on television, on YouTube, out in the fucking world looking at advertisements, going to the beach. Shit is just ridiculous. I hate that type of thing exists, and I hate even more that there are leftists out there that don't know how to handle it. You shut it down in its fucking cradle. You don't even let it get out of the crib. Yes, no, this is if you care to, you can go to Vosh's channel right now as I'm recording this, and he's doing a whole fucking Kink at Pride Day. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and he's doing the same shit he did last year. Trying to go like, well, this is okay, but we need to decide how much of this is okay, and I do agree that this is a little sussy, and that's a little sussy. Trying to find like a middle ground between himself, a self-professed advocate of queer acceptance, and like what, reactionary people on the right? I do find this rather explicit, my dude. Shut up. Like, learn how to argue about this, or just don't talk about it. Just do another boring ass fucking politics stream. You know what I mean? Like, learn how to discuss this, learn the history of it, or shut your mouth. Because you do better just ignoring this and letting it fizzle out like it always does. A month from now, nobody's going to care about this shit. Like, don't engage trying to find middle ground or win hearts and minds over from the other fucking side on this very stupid issue. Unless you're just going to shut it down in its fucking cradle. Nope. Tell me what's sussy about this picture. Oh, well, there's a drag queen. Why is seeing a person dressed in drag sussy? Well, look at what she's wearing. Is that more or less revealing, would you say, than a bikini? Well, I mean, it shows less skin in a bikini. Okay, so is it sussy when you take your kids to the beach? Well, no. What else is sussy? Well, look at that sign on the wall. It's not going to lick itself. That's pretty sexually explicit. So is every fucking ad for Dior, for fucking, you know, I'm not a big brands guy, so I don't know, like, every Gucci ad. Sexy as fuck. What about the ads that play before YouTube videos and shit? What about the content on YouTube? See, this is what I'm talking about. So if you can't demonstrate to me one thing that a kid wouldn't just run into if their parents took them out on a fucking day to the beach, then you need to calm the fuck down. Period. End of discussion. No more talking about it. No ceding any ground about it. No trying to make a moral judgment on a snapshot. Just shut it down. Just shut it down immediately. What are your opinions on the streamer Destiny? I used to watch Destiny back before he was an exclusively political guy. I liked Destiny when he was like a StarCraft streamer. He used to be like a semi-pro StarCraft player, StarCraft 2. He was with Root Gaming for a while. And I used to love watching him play matches against people. He was a really unconventional Zerg player. And as such, because I'm a Zerg player myself, I really liked watching him because he was always trying out something that was off meta. I know he wasn't the first guy to do it, but he was one of the first guys that I saw, for example. Those of you that are into StarCraft 2 will know this, and if you're not, it'll be over in a second. He was one of the first guys I saw doing like mass Infester. So Infester is a unit that's really expensive and takes a lot of tech to get to, but it's very powerful. It's got these fungal growth spells that it can cast that slow the enemy down and do damage over time. And if you can hit a big blob of enemies with a bunch of them, you do a lot of damage. And so Destiny started playing like almost exclusively Banelings, Banelings, and Infestors. And while everybody else was playing a very macro-oriented, roach-heavy kind of StarCraft 2 army, he was playing this longer macro game trying to get up to Infester tech and then just massing Infestors. So I really used to like watching Destiny play video games. I kind of can't really comment much on his political stuff. I don't listen to a lot of political stuff. I don't have much of a stomach for it. Like, I started this stream because I sat out here and I was just chilling, and a fucking Voss stream gets recommended to me, and I see it's about Kink at Pride. I watched about 15 minutes of it, and he's arguing with, of all fucking people, TradCon ass, fucking alt-right ass shoe on head is freaking out about Kink at Pride again. It's that time of the month. And he's fucking like actually entertaining her arguments as if they're not, if there's something adult. As if they have anything past go. He's not shutting it down. He's not taking up for gay rights. He's not taking up for gay people. He's making it look like Pride is just some sussy event where the whole point of it is to expose children to butt cheeks or whatever. I don't even know what the contention is. That's why I don't watch politics shit. I rage. Like, I'm fucking tea kettling over that shit. So... Thanks for existing, my friend. Thanks for the $10. Say the same about Mardi Gras? Yeah. You know how many kids are at Mardi Gras? Fucking tons. They're going to be exposed to more sexually explicit shit at a night at Mardi Gras than they are at any fucking kink Pride parade, maybe save for one or two that are actually super fucking kink oriented, like Folsom Pride, which nobody should be taking their fucking children to anyway. Shouldn't even be a question. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous, pearl-clutching, conservative nonsense, and you do a disservice to the movement for LGBTQ acceptance by even entertaining people who want to fucking be reactionaries every goddamn Pride month that comes out. They can't just be like, okay, cool. Congratulations on how far you've come, LGBTQ people. Enjoy your Pride Month. They've got to be like, oh, look at what they're showing the kids. Oh, look at this drag queen dancing for these kids. Oh, God. Oh, the humanity. And you want to engage with those people. You think engaging directly with those people and, like, working towards a middle ground with those people is doing a service to queer acceptance? Wrong. Wrong. Every year it's going to be a fucking thing. And it's on a lot of leftists like Vosh and others that don't know how to answer this type of shit. That it will be a discourse every year. Every year it's going to be a fucking thing. Because people, instead of just shutting this shit down like I just did, somebody brought me that picture that everybody's freaking out about. That's exactly how I shut it down. You don't sit and have a fucking 2-hour-long discourse with alt-right people in your chat. You don't even entertain the notion of it unless they can fucking show you some compelling evidence. And a drag queen dancing in front of some 10-year-olds is not compelling evidence to me. Kids see worse than that if you take them down fucking Hollywood Boulevard. Okay? Take them to the beach. Get with it. Well, that's the thing. That's why it's so destructive, Vagrant. That's why it's so destructive. Is because on the other side of the push for continued queer acceptance is the push for queers to go back into the closet. Out of the streets and into the closet. Versus out of the closet and into the streets. Which side are you on, boys? Because if you're on the out of the closet and into the street side, then you need to just shut down this kink at pride discourse every year when it comes up. Shut it the fuck down. Anybody bitching about this is a reactionary, right-wing piece of shit. Happy Pride to everybody that's LGBTQ in my audience. Now let's move on to something with substance behind it. But no. Lefties just fucking faceplant. No, he's not a CIA agent, bro. He's just a dumb fuck. That's just, you know what I mean? I can see, like, why you might maybe think that, but I'm just letting you know. The truth is much more mundane and much worse, in my opinion. He's just a dumb fuck. Got plenty of those in the world. He ain't the only one. He's but a cream-faced loon. A slubberdy gullion indeed. He's but a randy jackanapes. Yeah, I mean, I bet Vosh couldn't tell you two things about the Stonewall. I bet Vosh couldn't tell you two things about the history of Pride. I bet you Vosh couldn't name two activists that were instrumental in bringing about Pride. I bet Vosh couldn't name you fucking... You know what I mean? Like, why are you even talking about this, bro? Just get off of it. So clearly not about the children. No shit. No shit. That's why it's so destructive to engage with this. Because you're ceding ground that, oh yeah, this is about kids. No. No. Well, actually, yes. This is about little LGBTQ kids growing up in a world where they're not going to be stomped or crucified on a country fence like Matthew Shepard was when I was a kid. You think that isn't still fucking sitting right here at the forefront of my brain? How do you know something like that happened to somebody that's your age? He was nailed to a broken down fence in the middle of nowhere and left there to die because he was gay. That's what's at stake here. So you want to talk about what's good for kids, especially LGBTQ kids? More acceptance, more out of the closets into the street, a bigger pride festival, more attendance, more free human expression. Because the other side of that argument is less. I was Matthew Shepard's age, or thereabouts. I think he was a couple of years older than me when that happened. And bisexual. That's what pride is about. Ending that. Ending that. Fully and completely and utterly ending it. Let's talk about that. You see, leftists are horrible at that. Leftists are horrible at not letting the right lead them around on a leash. They let the right react to things, and then they're so desperate to find some kind of a rhetorical win that they end up ceding ground without even knowing it. Like just the fact that Vosh is over there having an actual legit discussion with Shoe on Head, who couldn't give a fuck about kids 24/7, 364, except for the day she decides to tweet about kink at Pride, and you fucking know it. This is about not being cool with gay people. This is about wanting gay people to keep their shit on the down low and not be out, not be public with it. The fact that he doesn't immediately call that out and instead engages in this fucking stupid discourse every year is so damaging. I can't imagine being a young gay person in his audience listening to this going like, oh yeah, maybe it is a little sussy. Oh, how much kink should be? Shut the I would never want a child to feel that way. I would never want a young queer person to feel that way that was watching me. You go be you. There are people that laid down their lives literally so that you could be you. Yeah, soft homophobia, exactly. It's ceding the ground that there's something suspect about being queer. Let's take a look at felony convictions of Republican politicians for child molestation. You know, there are like dozens and dozens and dozens. But you want to paint the queer community as the source of your pedophilic problem. Give me a fucking break. This shit gets me fired up, man. This shit is very, very real and very raw to me. This is not just discourse to me, man. I fucking grew up in an intense homophobic atmosphere. And I was made to feel awful every fucking day of my life when I was a teenager. I had to lie. I had to lie about who I was. I had to not pursue one whole aspect of my interest because people would have beat the fuck out of me. Set aside the just getting made fun of every fucking day. People would have beat the fuck out of me. People would have attacked me. So I'm very real about this. You gotta shut this shit down. Lickety split when these fucking fear-mongering, homophobic pieces of shit come to you. You don't give them an inch, man, because if you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. We didn't learn that with Trump. I feel like there's such standard leftism that it saddens me that I have to even give talks like this. You know? I feel like this whole thing is so utterly standard. Fight the good fight. Well, thank you. Even your own family, not that you don't love them, of course, but my own family made it explicit that if I were gay, they would hate me. They made it explicit every day in the way that they talked about gay people. The jokes that they made, the snide comments that they made, that I, regrettably, as a child, I mean, I'm a child and I'm going along to get along. I went along with that shit. I made those jokes myself in order to fit in with the society that I lived in. No more. When I became a man, I set aside those childish things. Now I'm unapologetic about who and what I am. Yeah? And I'm fiercely defensive of other people in my position. Because I know what it is to grow up in a society that way more homophobic than you can imagine now. So shut this shit down, please, man. Fucking, you guys watch Bosch or whatever, go leave comments, go make fucking shit, go make hay about that. Because I don't got no interest in talking to the fucking guy. And I got no interest in getting on his fucking show and reiterating the same. Make a clip of this and send it to him or some shit. Let him know to stop. Stop hurting LGBTQ kids and people besides by ceding an inch to reactionary conservative bullshit. I was scared shitless the day that I heard about Matthew Shepard. Because he was strung up in a little place that looked a lot like the place I lived. There's a lot of back roads with a bunch of old fences and stuff where I grew up, and it scared me fucking lifeless. A lot of dark country road, man. That's why over the last few years explicitly, I've really tried to excise all those homophobic slurs from my vocabulary, contextual or otherwise. I don't like the way they sound. I don't like the way they roll off my tongue. I don't like how easily I can say them because I was just steeped in having to do it for fucking my whole life. It's a personal thing. It's not really for anybody else's benefit that I do it. I'd be lying to you if I told you it was for my own benefit. I don't like the way it sounds coming out of my mouth. I don't like the hate that comes behind it. Because I know that behind that, there's pain. Behind the way that I wield that word as a weapon against people is that word being wielded as a weapon against me for my entire fucking adolescent childhood. And most of my fucking 20s and 30s. So for me, I don't like using that shit. Contextual or otherwise, I just don't like the way it sounds coming out of me. And I don't like the way it makes me feel. Someone who's worked with trans people, I know at the end of the day, they're just, basically you're saying they're just normal people. Yes. Yes. That I've known trans people as well. They're the opposite of what a lot of people claim trans people are. They're not trying to rub anything in anybody's face. They're just trying to get by. And a lot of them are desperately clawing their way forward on a journey that, that a lot of them will be on for years and years and years. To look how they feel, to have an outward expression of their inward feeling. And if you're going to tell me that your average human being doesn't have that same exact worry, maybe not based on gender, but that desire and striving and deep ache for an outward expression of your inner feeling, then I'm going to call you a fucking liar. So it's just humanity, man. It's basic humanity. Trans people have been around since people have been around. They're Indian tribes that had entirely third genders. They're Indian tribes that were around for 20,000, 30,000 years in homeostasis with their environment, that had third genders. So if you're going to make this argument that there's some like wave of transness happening, no, they've always been there. This is just like the first time in United States history that it's kind of safe for some of them to say, hi, I'm trans. Where they don't risk getting strung up like Matthew Shepard for just saying it. That's the difference. It's not like there are people that act like, oh, transness is like growing. There are more of them now. No, they still represent about the same fucking percentage of humanity as they always have. There's just more people, and in the Western world, more freedom to express that part of yourself. That's it. And yet, it is not uncommon for you to live your entire life in the United States and never know one trans person. Or at least one person that's outwardly, openly trans. That's how few trans people there are. I don't know how likely, but it's incredibly easy. It would be incredibly easy for somebody in this country to live their entire life and make associations and blah, 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 and never meet a trans person. Or never really know a trans person. You might like pass one in the street, but to know one in person. So that's how few of them there are. So you're talking about a very, very tiny minority of people that get a whole lot of unwarranted fucking bullshit in their laps constantly. They gotta fight just to be who they are. And they gotta sit and read the same shit you read, you know? I feel like that's out of my system now. At least to the extent that it can be. We need to bring back the Lavender Panthers. They were a gay rights group that were actively militant about gay safety. No longer will a gay person be beaten without retaliation. Yeah. I mean, I think organizations like that were way more needed 20, 30 years ago than they are now. But I wouldn't be adverse to having some of those organizations, especially in places that are just very actively, aggressively hostile towards gay people still. Like certain areas of the South. Now, let's not confuse my very impassioned defense of gay rights and the continuation of Pride Month just as it is for as long as it needs to be with some of the more extreme, like, oh, there's a gay genocide a coming type of shit. That doesn't serve fucking anything. That's like conservative thinking. You know, conservatives are naturally more paranoid people. You know, they've done psychological studies on people that are lifelong conservatives and lifelong Democrats or lifelong liberals. And the conservatives have a much higher propensity towards paranoia and aggressive thinking. And as such, this whole like, oh, they're gonna round us all up, man, it's the same type of shit, man. When I hear somebody saying like, gays gotta get armed because they're gonna come for the gays, like they're gonna go door to door with a paddy wagon and round up all the fucking gays, it just, to me, it sounds it's the same shit. It's like, they gonna replace us. Pretty soon there ain't gonna be enough white people to hold them back. They're just gonna come and take us all away, put us in camps, FEMA camps. Barack Obama gonna be the one that does it. It's the same vibes. It's like, let's talk about the reality. Let's keep our heads in fucking reality. Let's be realistic, people. Why don't we try it for a change, huh? Hillbilly reservations win. Dude, TJ said something, I think it was on a grease trap that we did. It's stuck in my fucking head, man. He said, and I don't know why I've never thought of this. He's like, we just need to put the South under Reconstruction again. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's true. We didn't finish. Let's put the whole shit under fucking Reconstruction, man. Military on the streets, enforcing that everybody be fucking kind to people of color and gay people, enforcing equal use laws and public land and all of that shit until these people get it through their fucking thick skulls that they're not going to get what they want here. You're not getting your ethno-state. You're not getting your Nazi shit. Not here. Sorry. You want to stay a part of the United States, you're going to have to, like, age up. You're going to have to join us here in 2022. Because this, like, perpetually pretending you're living in 1955 shit, it's not jiving, man. So these soldiers are out here to help all of you learn how to be fucking polite. We're going to teach you to be citizens of your country. It's a little extreme, but I'm for it. Let's do it. It ain't jiving, man. Who's the Nazi for advocating martial law against your political opponents? These are not just political opponents, sir. These are historical. And if you think I'm wrong, I want you to go out, if you're living in the South, and count how many Confederate flags you see. This is a former traitorous element within my country. It was not that long ago that they rose up in arms against this country. So they're not just my political opponents, they're my military opponents as well, and you got to keep that in mind. Okay? They're very lucky that we allow them to vote. They're very lucky that political will to keep Reconstruction going kind of fell off. Because you know what the point of Reconstruction was? To teach the people that live down there what it was required of them to be a United States citizen. They weren't going to lynch, they weren't going to deny, they weren't going to re-enslave, they weren't going to abuse black people. They were going to learn to live in polite society. We left too early. That's my contention. That's backed up with the fact that that traitorous rag was raised in the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2020. So that supports they're not only my ideological and political opponents, they're my military opponents as well. They're members of a seditious part of my country that once rose up and millions died. Come on. Civil War reboot win. It just wouldn't go over well for him nowadays. I mean, they're only subject of the Constitution if they're in full compliance with being citizens of the United States, no? Like if they're, for example, flying widely a rebel flag and continuing to impede progress in this country and continuing to make their part of the country an enclave of racism and poverty. Right? Oh yeah, there's literal talk of more secession down there, so they didn't learn their lesson the first time. So the Constitution comes into play if they want to play ball, but they have to abide by the Constitution too, you see. And that's kind of where they have a problem. They have the right to fly. I didn't say they didn't have the right to fly the rebel flag. I just said I understand the meaning of it. Do you? Do you understand what the meaning of the rebel flag is? Because if you say Southern pride, I'm going to slap you in your face, sonny boy. You know what the meaning of that flag is. It's a Confederate battle flag. They're saying, like, the South will rise again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but in bumper sticker form. Okay? They got every right to show. In fact, I think they should keep right on doing it. I think every one-tooth hillbilly in the country should raise a big old flagpole and put a fucking rebel flag on it. Make it easier to find out where they're at. Please announce yourself. The rebel flag. Oh Lord, I love to fly the rebel flag. Yeah, they got every right to fly it, but don't think I don't know what it means. Of course people fly the Confederate flag here in California. Because we've allowed them, look, we've allowed them a huge leeway as traitors to the United States, as a group of states that rose up in military opposition to the United States. We've allowed them way too much leeway in the ensuing years. Absolutely, yeah. They were never properly brought into the modern age. And as such, they're living 50 years, 60, 70 years in the past in some places. That's inherently hurtful to the progress of our country. It's inherently hurtful that there are places, there are enclaves of 1940s ignorance still abound all over the South. They never caught up educationally. Their schools are a fucking travesty. They never caught up ideologically. They're still a hotbed of racism and Nazism. They never even caught up with the idea that, like, if we're part of the United States, then we're all in this together. They still fly their stupid fucking rebel rag around. They just never quite caught up with the rest of us. Being 0-1 at war is a weird thing to be proud of. Yeah, it is. Probably why they're so paranoid. Could be. How seriously should we take someone who has XX prefix and suffix on their username? I'm gonna time you out for wasting my fucking time. Don't type out a whole ass fucking thing like that. That is just pointless. Because if I waste my time reading it, then... So I'm putting the chat under reconstruction now. Yeah, we don't got 60 years for them to catch up, man. We don't got 60 years. The world can't stand it. Our democracy can't stand it. We ain't got 60 years, man. They got to be brought to modernity today. If not today, then first thing tomorrow. Reconstruction 2, Electric Boogaloo. Enforcing basic civility in the United States, terrorist states in the South. Oh, they're all paranoid because we have pundits like you advocating for martial law against them, and you hide behind red book. What? Okay, buddy. You can think what you want to think, man. You think what you want to think. Construction complete. Need more Vespine gas. Need more minerals. More work then. What is it? Hello then. Alright. What is it? More work? All right then. Zug zug. Righto. More work? Do you want axe? Who do you want to kill? The damned rise. Hard to believe we're coming up on a year ago that you dunked on Jamie, all over Jamie. Oh God, are we really like counting that as a milestone, man? Because that was just like a Tuesday or whatever for me. Build more farms. Construction complete. Lady Hopium. I tried to warn her. I remember I really like, in good faith, was like, man, don't do the Hopium shit. Just don't tie your name to a meme, man. I have a dog named Dinor, you know? I gotta be faced with that fucking dead meme every day. You just don't do it. You know, rebrand as Lady Hopium. But whatever. It's her channel. She can do whatever she wants. That's one of the problems, is that it's too easy to make fun of. You can just go Lady Copium, or Lady Mopium, or Lady Dopium, yeah. Yeah. There's 3 ones right there. All you gotta do is switch a letter and you're making fun, you know? Gotta be more careful, man. Lady Ropium. Lady Nopium. Lady Slopium. Lady Gropium. Lady Soap Scum. Alright, we're starting to get off. We're starting to get out of the rhyming scheme now. It's starting. But you get the drift, you know, it's not hard. It's definitely not hard. Ladies, what? Scrotinium? Come on. I want a cat named Individual. No, you don't. Lady Wokium. Oh, man. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, jeez. Well, I think I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Bye.